Subject on section 4 of chapter 3 is turning points and end behavior. So turning points are where the function changes from increasing to decreasing or from decreasing to increasing. And there's always going to be, if we're looking at a polynomial function of degree n, so if we have degree n, then there are going to be n minus 1 turning points. Okay, so let's go ahead and just dive right in and let's look at a couple examples, and then we'll kind of diagnose it from there. So here are a couple examples. We can have end behavior. It can both the left side and the right side can both go up. They can both go down. One side can go up. The other side can go down. So if we look at this, we have two type of here we have two types of examples. We got f of x is equal to 4x to the 7th plus 3x squared minus 1. And then we have f of x equals 3 plus 2x minus 4x squared minus 5x to the 4th. And so what we're doing here to find out the end behavior, all we care about is the degree of the polynomial. So the degree of this polynomial is 7, and the degree of this polynomial is 4. Okay, and so what that lets me know is there's only two types of numbers. There's either even or odd. And when we're looking at odd, they're going to be these two types. So the odd ones are either going to go, as we go left, it's going to go up, and then to the right it would go down, or if we go to the left it's going to go down, and to the right it's going to go up. And then the even ones are these two types. They're both going to face up. The left side's going to face up and the right side's going to face up, or the left side's going to face down and the right side's going to face down. So if we're looking at the degree an odd one, so that means that it's either, as we look at our graph is either going to go up and to the left and down and to the right, or it's going to go down to the left and up to the right. So it's either one of those behaviors. Now we just have to look at our coefficient, our leading coefficient. Here it's 4, it's a positive 4, so since it's a positive 4, that means it's going to go down and to the left, and it's going to go up and to the right. So it's going to be, that's our end behavior. So our end behavior, we just draw it. You just draw it like this. Come on. So that's how I draw that answer for the end behavior. So that's how I describe it. Down to the left, up and to the right. Degree 4, that means it's either it's even, so that means it's gonna face up, or it's gonna face down and face down. Here we look at the coefficient, the lead coefficient, which is -5, and that's negative, so that means it's gonna be kind of like a quadratic, right? It's gonna face down and face down, so that'd be our end behavior of that polynomial function. So basically, there's some rules that you could write down, right? As if it's an odd function, so if it's an odd function and a is greater than 1, then greater than 0. So if it's positive, greater than 0, then it is going to go down to the left and up to the right. If it is negative, less than 0, then it's going to go, maybe I should move that over a little bit. If it's odd and then it's less than 0, then it's going to go up to the left and down to the right. And then even, if it's an even function, or the degree is even, and it's greater than 0, so it's positive, that means it's going to face up and face up on both ends. So we're looking at the end behavior. As we look at towards greater negative numbers on our x-axis, our function is going to go up, and as we look to the positives on our x-axis, our graph is also going to go up. And then if it's less than 0, that means as we go farther and farther to the left, our graph's going to go down, and as we go farther and farther to the right, the positive axis, it's also going to go down. So that is the end behavior, what it's talking about with end behavior. So here's your homework on page 330, number 21, 23, and 25 and 27. And so you can pause it here and do them. So all you're identifying is the end behavior, and then you're just kind of drawing what the end behavior looks like for each one. So 21, as we look at 21, we look at the degree. So the degree is 5. So since the degree is 5, it's odd, so it's either going to look like this or it's going to look like this. And since we look at the lead coefficient, that's a positive 5, so that means it's gonna look like that on number 21. Number 23, as we look at number 23, it is also an odd degree, so it's degree 3, it's odd, and it is a negative. It is a is less than 0, so it's negative, so that means number 23, it's going to go, as we go to the left, it's going to go up, and then as we go to the right, it's going to go down. So there's number 23. 25, as we look at 25, it is a degree of 6, so that's even, so it's either going to face, one end is going to face up, and the other end will also face up, or it's going to go down and down. And then we look at the lead coefficient, it's positive, so therefore it's going to go up on the left and up on the right. And the last one, number 27, that is a degree of 10, so again that's even, so that's going to go up and up or down and down. And it is a negative 5 as the lead coefficient. This one might look confusing, but remember the degree is the largest exponent and the lead coefficient is the coefficient in front of that largest exponent. So that's a negative 5, so that means it's going to go down and down. So that's the homework for end behavior.